Did you ever have a channel on YouTube that you would watch and just find hilarious, but you had to be really careful about who you told about the channel? For me, that was always Funhaus. Their blend of raunchy humor and the infectious personalities, along with kind of their unique show ideas like Demo Disc and, Steam Roulette Wheelhouse, blended things together so well to make them one of the best gaming channels really on the internet. And even calling it a gaming channel feels kind of unfair because they did so much. I even had the pleasure of watching them live at RTX several times, and their showmanship on stage was just off the charts, which is a totally different dynamic than sitting in front of a camera. One of the things that many YouTubers even and people behind the scenes have said was the obscene amount of hard work that Funhaus was putting into their channel. I mean, you remember we would see on-camera talent in the background of some videos editing while still working. The YouTuber and Twitch giant Moist Critical did a collaboration with them, and on a Twitch stream talked about how the whole time he was there, the entire team had their head down working and editing until it was time to shoot their video, and they all just turned on, filmed the video, and then went straight back to work. They're just trying to keep up with the content rush that they were putting out. Now, I know a lot of people stopped watching towards the end of Funhaus's run. Between the demo discs, the comment show, Google Trends, and Dude Soup, I had been watching Funhaus for a very long time and wanted to see it through to the end. And here's something a lot of you may not know about Funhaus post-COVID. It was good. Like, really good. Some of the team members swapped out, so it wasn't the old cast that everyone always talked about, but each video that came out really felt like so much time was still going into the editing, planning, and performances. And not to mention some of the new characters that came along, like Minch, Yoda, and the Brick. Funhaus stayed strong all the way to the bitter end and had a really heartfelt final stream where they said goodbye to everyone.
I love you all very much. This has been a lot. This job has been real shitty sometimes. And I'm really grateful to the audience, first of all, for watching, for allowing me to do things that I never dreamed I'd be able to. And for letting me do it with people that I care about a lot. And the people here have scaled Everest to deliver beyond those expectations. It's really, really remarkable.
The whole thing was a really intimate affair, both with the cast and the community. That day, it really did feel like the internet was losing something really unique. Lucky for us, the team was filled with talent, and while we may not get them back all together again right now, they have gone off and started working on new projects. So let's kick things off with Bruce Green. So Bruce exited the company before the actual shutdown of Rooster Teeth. He dove headfirst into streaming on Twitch and has been making waves on the platform. His whole motto and really the mood of the whole stream is to pay it forward. He frequently does collaborations with other streamers, so you never know if you're getting a Bruce night or like a full-on party. Nearly everyone post Funhaus has only said good things about Bruce as a person and as a manager. All the stories about how he helped manage the ups and downs at Funhaus really make him seem like a good guy. That's why you should check out his Twitch, see if it fits what you're looking for in a content creator, and give him a shot. He's taken that good guy energy and mixed it with the troll energy of everyone's favorite keyboard-wielding mega hacker, Lawrence Sontag, as well as Brian Garr from Rooster Teeth to make a new show called Inside Games. This is a really fun and legally distinct show that talks about gaming news. The show also gets in a fair bit of old Funhaus chemistry and chatting, as well as footage of both of them playing games. Their videos are never that long, usually between 15 to 30 minutes, so take some time to look one of them up. Maybe just look up your favorite game and see if their banter goes along with what you like. Speaking of Lawrence, he was always my favorite personality at Funhaus, and this probably says way more about me than I would like to admit. His self-deprecating humor and heel turns, combined with his kind of jaw-dropping one-liners, established this really fun edge in the group. And aside from Inside Games, Lawrence also streams on Twitch. It's a bit of a different vibe to Bruce's stream, so I recommend you kind of just drop in and check him out. They're usually a lot more chill. Whenever I've watched, he has the Funhaus personality dialed down a bit, and it feels more like a fun side chat with Lawrence while he plays some games that he seems to enjoy. If you want more of Lawrence outside of his Twitch and Inside Games, you can also catch him on a gameplay show called Brought You This on YouTube. It's a similar style to the old Funhaus Let's Plays that features Lawrence, Bruce, and Kasim G. I personally haven't seen any episodes yet, but so many people have brought it up since posting my last video that it definitely needs to be mentioned. So that brings us to a few people that the older fans might not be as familiar with. Charlotte, Jacob, and Patrick. I always said these guys would blow up if they went out on their own because their chemistry is so solid. They'd frequently appear in videos together with at least one member of the rotating cast, but all three of them together really would make things a good time. It's honestly really hard to separate them in my head because mentally I have them all sitting together in front of a screen doing a bit. The perceived innocence of Jacob kind of clashes with the dastardliness of Charlotte, and Patrick kind of plays the part of juggling both of their dynamics while throwing in his own. Appropriately, they all branched out together and started a new project called Astro Goblin. This is where all three talk about news, games, their lives. It's a great forum for them too because all three of their personalities make any discussion pretty funny and engaging. They do have a Patreon for the project and have 3 separate tiers. Patreon supporters give you access to their podcast and a variety of other features. These guys really deserve your support, so I'll actually be giving 10 tier 1 subscriptions to their Patreon to people that subscribe and leave a comment here telling me about your favorite Funhaus show that you go back and watch still. I'm only going to mention it here though to help your chances, so don't mention it in the comments. Charlotte and Patrick are actually running something else on Twitch and YouTube called What a Show. It's just the two of them, and they have these really long-form videos of them chatting about their lives and what's going on in the world, as well as gameplays. If you didn't know, Charlotte makes music. I've posted her Bandcamp up here. It's called Mom's Home for you to go visit. If you want a recommendation, go listen to What About What I Want. Pretty sure that one's my favorite. Jacob, he streams on Twitch. If you drop in, you'll probably see him playing with another former Funhaus member. His streams are a really good source of positivity, and I think we could all use a little bit more of that. He also has Mecha Mondays, where he builds Gundam figurines, so definitely join that. One of the people you might catch Jacob streaming with is actually Alanah Pierce, who's the next person we're going to talk about. Like some of the others, Alanah was already growing in popularity before she came to Funhaus. I remember watching one of the first videos she did with Funhaus, and I thought she held her own so well in a spot where it could be really hard to stand out with such developed personalities who have been together for so long, and she really fit the mold. And then next thing I know, a few weeks later, I'm at RTX 2018 where they announced that she was being hired. It was a lot of fun to watch Alanah grow as a creator and an entertainer at Funhaus. She always brought either kind of a chill vibe or the complete opposite with an upbeat energy, depending on the video. When she left Funhaus, we actually got to see her develop her other talents as she took a job writing for video games at Santa Monica Studios. She's also been in a content creator boxing match and even acted in a horror movie, VHS Beyond. Alanah did leave Santa Monica Studios recently, but has stayed on top of video game news and streaming. Her Twitch streams can be gameplay sessions. Sometimes it's more of a relaxed session, just going over video game news. And of course, she'll also link up with a bunch of other content creators and former Funhaus members and do group streams. A lot of former Funhaus fans are very excited about, and even the new fans, is this ongoing show called Movie House. This is a movie podcast that Alanah hosts along with James, Elyse, and Ryan Haley. It has a lot of similarities to the old Funhaus show Film House, if you watch that. It's definitely laid back and a great way to get caught up on movies, especially if you just skipped one and wanted to kind of sound like you knew what you were talking about. Now, speaking of Ryan Haley easily became a fan favorite personality kind of during and after the COVID era of Funhaus. Ryan's bizarre and exciting life has really been a source of endless content. Really, the guy could have his own TV show. Aside from the Movie House show, Ryan's professional life is as diverse as his life experience. He posts on 2 different YouTube channels and also makes his own music on Bandcamp like Charlotte. You should definitely check that out. You'll also catch him streaming on Twitch, so you'll want to drop by and maybe he'll offhandedly mention one of the craziest stories you've ever heard. So last but certainly not least are James and Elyse Willems. These two clearly don't need any introduction. They were the 2 pillars of Funhaus, especially at the end. James always felt like the leader of the group, and he could really effortlessly drop into any cast at any point in Funhaus's run and steal the show. James was probably the most steady on-camera member of Funhaus and provided us with hours of entertainment, steroids, jokes, everything. Fortunately for us, he's continued to make content. James, a wrestler, an entertainer, a comedian. He's focused much of his post-Funhaus life on a trivia show called Answer For It, which he hosts out of LA. There are also tickets, though, for live streams that can be purchased online, and it is totally worth it. If you want to get an idea, there's plenty of clips on his social media for you to figure out whether or not you'd like the show, and if you liked any of Funhaus's live action stuff that they did, I think you're going to be a huge fan. Now, Elyse Willems has some of the best comedic timing at Funhaus. Not only that, she was a source of endless bits and characters that were certainly always worth the effort. Post-COVID, Elyse took her love for Jim Henson and puppets and paired it with her inspired research for bits and came up with Minch Yoda, a character that was completely accepted by the Funhaus community and rejected, unfortunately, by the Young Jedi community. If you weren't aware, Elyse wrote a children's book called A Night in Halloween House. Also, she started a podcast called 30 Morbid Minutes with Jessica Vasami from Rooster Teeth, where they discuss morbid crimes, mysteries, and other disturbing realities. It was a show that got pretty popular when it was under the Rooster Teeth umbrella, but it's actually back. So I think a lot of people may not know that. So if you're a fan, jump back on board. They're still making content. In May 2024, Elyse became an on-camera host for PBS SoCal, where she would do segments on video games. Along with all that, she also works on the Answer For It show with James, so you cannot miss out on their energetic back and forth. So you remember what those were like. You can get a good idea of what they're doing again by going to their social media. Really, Instagram for all of these people. It's a really good spot because that's how they can promote what they're doing, and you can really get a kind of free sample of what they're putting out. In fact, they actually just recently launched a podcast for Answer For It and released their first episode within the last couple weeks. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but I have a lot of faith because it features James, Elyse, and Zach Anner, who was one of the funniest guests consistently on Funhaus, and he actually wrote If at Birth You Don't Succeed, which I keep downloaded in my Audible library. Not an ad, just really like the book. Everyone is working so hard to continue to make content, and more importantly, content that they control. This is the type of content in 2025 that relies on the support of the fans. Because, guys, we've left the period of the internet where we just got everything for free, and we didn't have to worry about it going away. Now, you have to support the content you enjoy, or people will either sell it or do something else. Support doesn't even just mean money. Support can just be liking, sharing someone's content. You never know when you doing something small like that can connect someone with that content who has the ability to support it monetarily. Now, I've chosen to cover the people who seem to be doing the most public-facing shows. Money's tight for everyone right now, so it's not like people I didn't mention don't have jobs, but I'm also not going to dive into people's LinkedIn for updates. I try to be positive, not parasocial. If you have some time, I strongly encourage for you to go check out everyone at least once. I'm not usually someone who consumes a lot of content on Twitch, but I've actually tried to go through and follow all their shows and kind of check in on them when I can. It really feels like the least we can do for the people who brought us, such killer content for so long. I'll probably be quoting Funhaus to my grandkids. Thanks for sticking around on this one. I'm working on a fairly niche video that is still Rooster Teeth related, but I'm needing to do some filming out in the real world. So I'd love if you subscribe to check it out. I know some of these videos will just be check-ins, and I also know that sometimes delving into these older channels and personalities can feel like looking back on the Google Street View of an area you used to know but has long been torn up and renovated. But still, I try to make videos that I would want to watch myself. And if these videos resonate with a single person and you have a good time, it would be more than enough for me to keep making them. Because look, luckily I got to watch people like Funhaus demonstrate hard work on the internet in the effort of entertaining whoever they could for as long as they could. So again, thanks for watching and take care.
Ah, come mud!